Warning, this may or may not contain, most likely will contain spoilers for the following game I'm about to talk about. Alright. Hello there everybody, this is CwapTheNintendin here, and welcome to another edition of Platinum Impressions in which games are talked about and also other stuff, because apparently I need a better system for this. So today we're going to talk about a game that I've gotten like a month ago for my freaking PS3, because now I'm doing PS3 games. Okay, you know what? Screw this shit. Final Fantasy IX for the PlayStation 1, because I can get it off of PSN. Yeah. So, when I first saw this game from my dear old friend Mayo Hello, I figured, oh, what the heck is this game? What the heck is this game? And I was like, oh, it's a Final Fantasy. Apparently, like, trailers do that for me, like, or trailers for Final Fantasy games do that, in which, like, they show, like, a completely different game, and I don't recognize the names, like, Nobuo Uematsu or Hiroki Ito at all, and other such things, like the Final Fantasy name or whatever. Anyway, I was kinda sorta following his, like, Mayo Hello's LP of it, and I thought, oh, you know, this looks cool. I mean, like, and all that other stuff. And then I got spoiled with a few cutscenes. I was like, dude, I need to play this game. But that didn't happen for like a long time. That was like 2 years ago. But now that I have a PS3 and I had the money, I bought it. I didn't play it for about a month. And then I finally started playing it and playing it and playing it until I couldn't play anymore. Which I finally stopped doing because now I'm on my second playthrough of this game. Like, seriously, I'm like 4.5 hours into my second playthrough already after beating the game and stuff. Yeah, it's just so addicting. Like, I gotta say, like, before I get into the meat of things, like, I was addicted more to this fantasy than I was with any other, like, Final Fantasy. Like even with me playing Final Fantasy VI of 2012 or 13, I wasn't addicted to that fantasy as much as I was addicted to this one. Like, seriously. Okay, so basic and to the point. You know the whole story of Final Fantasies. You go do a thing, you think you've got the objective figured out, but nope. Some random evil comes around and is all like, hey, I'm gonna destroy the world. You're gonna okay, in all seriousness, though. So how can I explain the story of Final Fantasy IX without necessarily spoiling it? Well, I can kind of quote the freaking description of the thing on the PlayStation menu thing when you're about to select the game. Join Sidon, a thief on a theater troupe called Tantalus, and his thief and buddies as they kidnap the Princess of Alexandria with the Queen Braun on their side. And Queen Braun wants to, like, take over things. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, obviously there's a lot more than that, but obviously I really just don't want to spoil the story without getting, like, too much into the characters, because, like, you know, you start off in, you know, Alexandria, you know, you're kidnapping the Princess Garnet as Zidane, you know. They have nice little banter and whatever. And Garnet's bodyguard, Steiner, is forced to follow them, along with the Black Mage Vivi, and they go along this existential journey and stuff. And of course they find out that Queen Braun is evil and wants to, like, take over all the kingdoms in the continent things. So, you know, it's up to them, along with some other guys, to save the day. Obviously. But, you know, of course, there's always other Final Fantasy villains to like, take over the spotlight. And, of course, this one is no exception, in the name of Kuja. Because Kuja has a fashion sense and stuff. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Basic and to the point, I just love the story for its characters. Just like, seriously, I love the story for its characters. Like, Like, on the title screen, as you move along, you notice that the characters have all sorts of, you know, different words describing them, basically. Like, Zidane's is virtue, Princess Garnet is devotion, Vivi is sorrow, and whatever. That actually ties into their characters, like, seriously, they do. And I'm just gonna spoil this right now. Basically, and to the point, my favorite character story-wise is basically the Vivi. The Vivi is the best thing. Because every time I like watched a scene with Vivi, I get in like the most interested because okay, so early on in the game, when you get to the village of Dali and you go underground to rescue Vivi, you notice a strange little machine thing. And what's that machine producing? Black mages, just like Vivi is. Yeah. So Vivi apparently is going on this quest just to find out why the black mages were made and stuff. And apparently the black mages have like a year lifespan. So like Vivi could technically die at any point because apparently, well, according to the game, like Vivi has been around for like 6 months. So like apparently this entire journey is like 6 months apparently. So yeah. But short and to the point, like poor Vivi, just basically poor Vivi. I can't necessarily find the words without, you know, spoiling the story. You just gotta play the game for yourself, you know? You just gotta play the game for yourself. I know, I'm being really stupid right now, but I don't care. That's, yeah. Just, yeah. Like, all the characters have really neat interactions with each other and stuff, especially at the beginning of the game. Zidane's and Steiner's are the best things at the beginning of the game. Their banter is so good. It's too good. And I really do like Zidane, and just basically any relationship having to do with Zidane is really great. Like Zidane and Garnet, they're really just cute together. They're so cute together. Vivi and Zidane basically are like brothers throughout this entire journey. They're bros. I didn't mean to sound like PewDiePie for a moment. What else? Can't really think of anything else other than the quartet that like started the journey. But I just really love this game for its characters. Like, the story goes in all sorts of different ways or whatever. It all starts with, you know, stopping King Braun, and then goes to like stopping Kuja from taking over the world, and then like it goes all the way to like aliens or whatever. Like the plot gets like really crazy, and it just like there's just something about like the whole story of the game that just like sucks you in. I mean, it's not like Xenoblade level where it's not like Xenoblade level, but where it has like a really creative setting. It's nothing like that, but for what it is, it's just sucking you in so good. I know that sounds wrong, but I don't care. So yeah, I really love the story just for its characters alone. The plot can go in all sorts of ways, just so long as its characters are really great, in my eyes. Graphics now. This game looks good. Like, okay, so this is one of the PlayStation Final Fantasies. In fact, it was actually the last PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy on the system. And pretty much similar to my opinions on how the pre-rendered backgrounds look in number 7. Number 9's pre-rendered backgrounds look so good. I don't know why, it's just like, the PlayStation Final Fantasies look so appealing to the eye, like, seriously. But yeah, those freaking fixed camera angles can be confusing at points, but when I first saw Final Fantasy IX, I honestly thought, like, the backgrounds looked like one of those PC games that you've seen on the computer that, like, you know, have those hand-drawn backgrounds or whatever. But I really do have to say they look fantastic, even on like a widescreen TV when you know the game is 4:3. This game looks really good, and it's amazing because, like, I think it's one of the best looking Final Fantasies I've ever seen. Like 3D Final Fantasies. I'm pretty sure they look pretty good. I know, like 13 looks fantastic in the graphics department. But I feel like 9's is like more appealing to the eye, and the whole setting of it all is just, you know, like a throwback to, you know, previous Final Fantasies, which was basically the whole intent of the game, to be a look back at the other Final Fantasies before like 7 and 8 came along. And it really does show. This is what a Final Fantasy should look like in 3D. And I do wholeheartedly agree with the people that Final Fantasy IX is just basically your classic Final Fantasy, but in 3D, and it looks so good. It's just so great. It's great. But anyway, gameplay. So, you know how I discussed other previous Final Fantasies before, on like, you know, how it's the whole active time battle system, you know, you get a turn every few seconds and all that jazz. 4 started it, 6 was the first one I played, and it took some time getting used to. Well, I've gotten more used to it, and I do have to say, it is actually a pretty fun little system that they have like the ATB system. Yeah, it's really fun, and I've gotten a lot more strategy heavy, like, as I've gotten more and more through to the game. Like say you have a character waiting in the wings for their turn, right? You can press a button to skip their turn, so that you can use that turn for later, and I've been doing that a lot, especially in my second playthrough of the game. And it's just like, it's a really good, it's actually a really, really good system, and I do appreciate it for what it does. And especially like the whole system of basically equipping your abilities and stuff. Like, I didn't find that out until like disc 2 of the game, maybe, or disc 3, I'm not sure. But, basic and to the point, your characters can learn different abilities based upon their equipment, so you really have to think about what you're going to equip to your characters. Like near the end of the game, like, I equipped Garnet with her wizard rod, right? This is like disc 4, like the final dungeon of the game. And I finally gotten the ability Curaga, which is basically Cure 3, like the full cure. The full cure ability. And yeah, I was so peeved, like, what is Aiko to get that, but not me? By the way, Aiko is another party member. Basically another summoner slash white mage, but yeah. I finally gotten that ability. I was like, oh cool, she finally gets it, like, in the final area of the game. I was like, what? But that's only because I've been using Zidane to steal things from bosses, which is very important, by the way. So yeah, I really do think this, it may seem like complicated at first, like, you know, you're trying to equip ability and you get AP from defeating monsters and you use those to get that ability, and it can take a really, really long time unless you're grinding up for those nice nice monsters, like you give them the ores to feed and you get like a ton of AP, and you beat a lot of bosses and you get a ton of AP for that. I do really think, like, it may be complicated at first, but once you really get into it, you can really, like, just break out your characters with some OP stuff right there. And stuff. I think, like, out of all the party members I like to play as, like, ironically, according to a certain Mayo Hello, I might add, if, by the way, yeah, I know you're gonna comment on this. I actually find, like, the sort of semi-optional, I say semi-optional because this guy is optional at the beginning at the beginning of the game, like 5 to 6 hours into the game, but it's required all the same. Kina, the Q, which it is a sort of a chef character. He's basically your blue mage, and I think that's like the very first blue mage that I've ever like taken control of, basically. So like basically the way that Kina works, that, by the way, that's Kina with a Q, U, I believe that's how it's spelled. Yeah, that's how it's spelled. Basically, blue mages can, like, mimic enemy skills, and the way that Kina works is that it's basically kind of like, you know, Pokemon. You have to weaken the enemy, and once you've weakened it enough, then you can eat the enemy and absorb its powers, sort of like Kirby. And I had to say, I've pretty much gotten almost every ability with Kina. I mean, like, Kina is, like, ironically, despite him being, or despite it being, like, comic relief in the story and not really having much on the plot, Kina is actually a really, really, like, interesting party member to use, I think. It's, like, one of my favorites, next to, I want to say, Garnet, but then again, Garnet has had her moment. Yeah, I'm talking about, like, after, and, like, in the middle of the game, halfway through the game, she, like, gets so traumatized by what happens in the plot that she can't concentrate sometimes in battle. So it's not just a story thing, it's a gameplay thing, which I appreciate, but gosh darn it, I want my Leviathan summon to work! Okay, so anyway, yeah, Kina is like the most interesting party member to me, and I don't know, it's like so much, I don't know, Kina is like so much fun to use. Like, those abilities that it gets, like Mighty Guard, which protects your party members from magic and physical attacks, Twister, which is like a really awesome wind attack, Earthshake, which is really powerful as all hell, White Wind, which is basically a Cura, and yeah, like, just the fact that, you know, blue mages get all these abilities, it's just really good. And yeah, I'm a fan of Kina as, like, a party member, but as a story character, comic relief, all that good stuff. I guess, like, the one thing that can kind of get annoying about, you know, the gameplay is kind of like, you know, unexpected encounters, like unexpected random encounters. Like, for example, the Grand Dragons. I think I've told this in a live stream before, but I screwed it up. So, I was near one of the boss fights in the game. It was the party of Zidane, Vivi, Freya, the Dragoon Knight, and Kina, right? I didn't get Kina yet at this point. So I went outside in this area before I fought the Gizalimuke boss fight. I don't know, the boss fight before Vermisia. And I was up against this dragon thing. I was up against this dragon called the Grand Dragon. It killed me in one hit. I was trying to run away from it, but it failed. I could have used Zidane's flee skill, but yeah, I was stupid. In fact, speaking of which, I actually found a criticism. Well, it's not really so much a criticism, it's more like, I guess. Running away from battles. Like, when I don't want to use Zidane's, like, flee skill, when I don't want to, I'm usually just holding down the L1 and R1 buttons to, like, run away. Imagine you doing that for about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Desert Palace, one of the areas of the game, I was trying to run away from it all. I was trying to run away. 3 minutes. No Zidane in my party. So you know what? I had to spend like 3 minutes trying to run away from a battle that I knew I probably couldn't win anyway because Dagger was being a concentrating little dick. And, and 3 minutes later, I just like, run. Just run. Just run away, little bird. Just, oh my god, there's like a lot of there's like plenty of annoying things in this game. Like, I don't want to sound too like negative about this, but I do have like one other thing that I'm pretty sure a lot of you know that it's coming. Sid's little mini game. Like, there's at one point in the game, like the second party that you don't choose to go along to Ovier to find stuff about, you know, ancient civilizations of another alien planet. Sid's little thing. He has to rescue everyone that you didn't choose to go along this journey to get the Gulag Stone for Kuja. So Sid goes off, there's a little creature in a cage, and what do you have to do? You have to sneak around. You gotta sneak and sneak and sneak. And how do you sneak? You tap the circle button. You don't hold the circle button. You have to tap it a lot. So I had to channel in my inner Star Fox 64 and be all like, and then the hedgehog thing came around and like said boo and scared Sid, the freaking frog oglop thing or whatever, back to the beginning of the thing. And guess what? You had a time limit. So I had to freaking be trigger happy like a few times before I eventually got it, like with over 4 minutes left. Yeah, that part sucked. Like, nobody likes, like, apparently according to people, nobody likes that game. Nobody likes that at all. Like, the freaking animal is in the freaking cage. It shouldn't eat Sid. No, instead it has to go like, boo, and like, scare off Sid. That's gonna be irritating if I ever decide to LP it, which you know I probably will at this point. I am freaking on my second playthrough. Good God. I don't know, this game has taken over my life. But aside from that, I don't really find any sort of faults in the gameplay. The game is still really fun to play as all other classic Final Fantasies are. The gameplay is just so good and intricate and awesome. Just remember, when you're playing a Final Fantasy, levels kinda matter. It's about your equipment that matters, kinda, maybe. But anyway, music. Once again, Nobuo Uematsu is on the helm for the music for like the 9th time in a row. And the music is awesome. Yep, the music is just so good. It's so good. The overworld theme is too good. A Place to Call Home, which is like the theme that you hear on the title screen. It strangely sounds so fitting. Strangely is fitting. And that theme plays like a few times throughout the game, like in several remixes, like at Ibsen's Castle or Oliver or Olivert's Oliver, is it? I don't know. Let's see. The battle theme is classic. As if 9 can't get any more classic referencing enough, they had to pull the. It's so good. It's too good. Probably aside from 4's random battle theme, it's probably my favorite in the series. Actually. Kuja's theme is too good. Dark Messenger is freaking awesome as heck. That song Garnet plays whenever she's alone, it sounds majestic. It really does. It really does. Roses of May, which is a character named Beatrix's theme. It's too good. You're Not Alone is so good. And that whole entire sequence was just golden. It just sums up, like... that theme alone just sums up, like, Zidane's relationship with everyone, including that sequence that goes along with it. It's so good. I actually do think the Chocobo theme, which is called Ukulele to Chocobo, has actually grown to be my favorite variation of the Chocobo theme. Like, I don't know, I like guitars. I like the guitars, they're so good. Yeah, and particularly with ukuleles. Yeah, I've grown to like Adventure Time's like music, so they've used ukulele in a bit of Rebecca Sugar songs, but yeah. Ukulele to Chocobo is my favorite variation of the Chocobo theme. So good. And what else? The ending song. I'm not going to spoil the ending song's name, but the ending song. It was good. I got to listen to it more, but what I listened to was really good. It was so good. It's a vocal song, and I'm not going to spoil it. Just, once again, Nobuo Uematsu just really shows how to make music in a JRPG. That's not like freaking Xenoblade. I don't know, like, I don't know, but whatever. Just basic and to the point. I just freaking love this game. I got more addicted to this Final Fantasy than I did with Final Fantasy VI, and I'm probably gonna not take this back right now, but if it's not my favorite fantasy, it's definitely tied with Final Fantasy VI as my favorite fantasy of them all. Just, I love this. I love the plot for its characters. I just love the way the game looks. It's basic Final Fantasy in 3D, in just full-on 3D. The music is really awesome. The gameplay is so intricate and cool. Just, man, I like Final Fantasy IX. I do have to agree with. I just agree with Hironova Sakaguchi that this is how a Final Fantasy should be. I mean, like, it may not have the awesomeness that is Kefka. It may not have the awesomeness that is Dancing Mad. It may not have the opera scene, but it has the I Want to Be Your Canary play. It has the freaking characters. It has the graphics. It's got just about everything a 3D classic Final Fantasy should be, and then some. Just, man. And this is the first PlayStation game that I've ever beaten. It's the first one that I've ever gotten addicted to. It's the first one that man, it's so good. Just, if you haven't experienced this game, download it on an emulator, download it on the PSN for your freaking PlayStation Vita or PS3, or if it's coming to PlayStation 4, it better come to PlayStation 4. But I'm going to say this right now. Square, if you're listening to this video, which I highly doubt you are, make a freaking PC version of Final Fantasy IX, because it desperately needs it. Because another kind of sort of criticism I have, loading times. It needs a PC port. Just please do it. Just please. I am petitioning right now for a PC Final Fantasy IX. They already did like 7 and 8, so yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to port 9 to a PC. Do it. So yeah, if you're a freaking Final Fantasy game, if you're a freaking Final Fantasy fan, if you hadn't experienced this game yet, just get it. It's so good. It's good. And if you're a freaking fan of RPGs, I'd still say you should pretty much start with 4, but make this your second Final Fantasy, I think, or possibly 6 or 5 or anything like that. I don't know. Just don't do 7 first, because then you're gonna be then you're gonna be like overrated as heck. So yeah, story good, graphics good, gameplay good, music good, just good. If my second playthrough is going to be any indication, it might shoot up to being one of my favorite games ever, even though I've only played it recently. Yeah. So with all this being said and jumbled and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure you'll get what I mean if you listen to this video back, and if you don't like the way that my commentary is spared out, then get out. Nah. So with all this being said, I will see you guys next time for another episode of Platinum Impressions. See you guys on the next time.